It's that time again. That's right. We'd like some feedback from you, the viewers. Couple things I'd like to find out about. Number one, questions for the guys and girls at the Gamers Table. Send them in to thegamerstable@hotmail.com, and we will compile a list of the top 10, 15 or so, and we will answer them on our end of the year, last of the season episode. So that'll come sometime in December. So you got lots of time to send in your question. Questions about anything. We don't care what it is. Send in your questions. The top 10 will make it. You could start a campaign with your friends to get a really stupid question in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Now, other things we have going on. Coming up, we have our anniversary show that's coming up in October, I believe. Early October. I'll have to check the date. It'll be right here. Bing! And for that one, we want, hey, you remember this from last time? We want your favorite moments. So you have until September 30th. I'll make the date for sure. I think it's September 30th to get in your favorite moment from the Gamers Table. That's all 4 seasons of the Gamers Table, including the Gamers Table Independent Edition, which is wrapping up its 2nd season in December of this year. And we will compile the top 10 of those and show you the top 10 favorite moments as voted by you, and we'll show our favorite moments from the last few years of the shows. And we will draw a couple lucky names, and they will win prize packs from the Gamers Table. That's right. Games and other paraphernalia, buttons, magnets, that sort of thing, sign stuff. It'd be all cool. So you want to do that. So get ready and send in your favorite moment. It means you're going to have to go back probably and watch some of the shows. It's kind of nice if you go back on YouTube to the user FBN Dude. That's the channel for the Gamers Table. Don't ask me to explain why that's the title of it. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and Independent Season 1, all of them are playlists, so you can just click it and you watch all the way through. And what we want you to do is say the show that your favorite moment is in and roughly the time where that moment appears at. So we look forward to seeing your entries and showing you some interesting stuff. Now there's one more thing coming up. You're not really going to have a lot of interaction in this, but you know it's coming. We do it every year. Our Halloween episode is coming up. What game would you guys like us to do for the Halloween episode? It should be something sort of with a Halloween or a scary kind of theme, sort of a monster type game. You've seen some of the ones we've done in the past. You've seen the kind of shows we've done in the past. So let us know what we can do. Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table Independent Edition. It is Friday and we're reviewing
Expresso.
This game kind of reminds me of, say, a really kind of nasty sitcom of a dysfunctional coffee shop.
The objective of Expresso is to serve customers their orders as quickly as possible to earn tips. The longer a customer waits, the less your tip is, until they eventually leave. The customers tend to get annoyed a lot too.
Yeah,
in this
that
game.
is spelled correctly, by the way, if you understand the game.
shot of espresso. He does know how to spell it properly. This is sort of a play on words to get an idea that you're doing express, fast. You seen those PopCap games, Diner Dash, that sort of thing? This is a card game version of that. But it's multiplayer rather than one player against the computer, which is what it would be.
Like I said, it's a very dysfunctional coffee shop. They're all working against each other, for the most part.
So we'll start out with everyone gets a barista.
Barista.
And every barista has special powers of their own.
Hey, those are customers.
That's right, there's the baristas here.
And after you get your barista, randomly, you don't get to pick one, everybody is dealt 5 cards from the stock room, which is going to be different ingredients, etc. for you. If you get one of the cards that is a notice, not an ingredient, you chuck those back and draw more cards. So you've got 5 that are all ingredients. After that, you begin taking your turn.
And depending on which barista you have, it'll change the amount of cards you draw in the beginning of your turn and how many actions you have. The different baristas and the powers they have, great variety. Very cool. Definitely like what they can do. I'll explain Chris. He's got 4 actions. He's got a salary for it, which means he gets 4 cards, 4 ingredients per se. And he can, for 3 actions, rearrange the tables. So he can switch 2 customers on the table with customers in your area. You can work overtime to just draw your salary again, which would be the 4 cards. And Chris is a head barista and has learned a few tricks along the way using his unique developed organization and technique. He can carry 1 extra ingredient in his hand. Normally there's a hand limit of 9 cards.
Yeah. But
And
before
Chris
you
can
even
hold 10.
before you even draw your cards and that, and before you do your actions, you will get a customer. Now, generally you only have 2 tables per player for customers. So you have 2 customers out in front of you. And they have symbols at the top of their card here. And these just happen to conflict here. One's got a cell phone, the other one's got a cell phone with the circle and cross through it. If they're sitting beside each other, we'll say if that would actually have to be at, say,
Different
Craig
tables,
or Chris's, different players. If they're adjacent, say if you got 3 player, they're obviously going to be both adjacent. They conflict, and when they conflict like that, they get impatient, and you put black markers on your cards. And there's 3 spots. Usually you get the one with the most victory points, one with the second most victory points, one with the least amount of victory points. Sometimes it's even with the second one. And when those are all covered, the customer gets impatient and goes away and gets replaced by a new customer. And they also have an attention level there as well. And sometimes that works with your baristas and stuff like that, depending on their attention level. They got abilities that will work with the customers. What do you do?
Getting more impatient.
Okay. Yes, and each customer
Why
wants
did you want all 3 of us
like
reviewing
a
this?
tea or a cup of coffee or something like that, and they all have specific ingredients what they want put in their coffee, and a bonus ingredient if you can complete their order and attach a little bonus, it's even better.
Some of the bonus ingredients aren't actually ingredients. Some of them are like Wi-Fi and gift cards.
Yeah, it's just little bonus stuff to make them happy.
So there were some things about this game. For one thing, brevity is good, but we got a little too much of it. And while you have covered fairly well what is in here, it isn't really, it hasn't got the right headings and everything. So when you're looking, what the hell's trade about? Trade is unfortunately buried in the middle of a paragraph somewhere. So the limits on trade and so forth are, it's in the middle of one of the how to plays. And we tried to look that up 4 or 5 different times about what about trading, and it's hard to find, unfortunately, right now. Oh, like I said, all the information that you need is in here.
The characters in here, they're all kind of neat. They get some really cool abilities and things like that. Some seem to matter more than others. Some are just, totally nasty. Like if you got absolutely nothing you can do on your turn, the one character can just say to the next guy, I'm going to spend my actions and make sure you don't have a turn at all. You don't even get to draw your cards. Things like that, And when, you're trading, you really want the ingredients to fill to help out your customers and that, but if people don't want to see that's all he's asking for is a shot of peppermint, maybe that's all he needs to fulfill that order or whatever, then we're not going to let him have it. But then, that kind of stalls the game out.
It should have an urgency. The customers leave quickly. They don't wait very long for you before they say, you know what?
Screw you. I'm going home. You guys can't get my coffee in time. I'm out of here.
It's one of those nights, apparently. Which is, adds to the urgency, but the overall, as we've been mentioning, you're going to have half the customers just get impatient and leave. That doesn't affect the game in any way. And if we're talking about serving customers in a coffee shop, every customer that leaves your business without paying for something, everyone that you have not managed to serve in time, impacts greatly on your business, especially in a smaller establishment like a coffee shop. I think you need to simulate that in some way, like having a specific pile for customers that have become impatient and left without being fulfilled, like two different discard piles, a fulfilled pile and an unfulfilled pile, because an unfulfilled life is not worth living. Wait, no, that's unexamined. Anyway, this is a trading game. It's a trading game. You need to trade. You need to trade. That's one of your two actions, trading. You need to trade to get it done. If I'm trying to get the most victory points, trading to Chris to get him to fulfill one of his customers doesn't make any sense. Why would I trade with him? So then you're holding cards back, which drags the game on because nobody can fill anything. Nobody can complete or fulfill anything because the cards aren't getting passed around. So what we thought would be better would be some sort of
cooperative aspect,
like
a group lose aspect.
Yeah, like a group lose aspect, like in the stack. Every customer that's impatient goes in a pile, and if there's X impatient customers, your coffee shop as a whole has such a bad reputation, nobody's going to go there. Everybody loses.
Hello and welcome to this Gamers Table special report live from the show at Gencon this year. And we take you first to Jamie. Jamie, have you got something to report for us?
Thanks, Craig. Really excited to be here. Gen Con 2013. The exhibitors are getting ready. People are getting lined up. They're all very excited. Back to you.
No. I know they call it that, but you don't actually blow. And we're back. Anything else, Jamie?
Thanks, Craig. It's been about 12 seconds since you talked to me last. Nobody's really been let in yet, and the exhibitors are still here. Back to you.
Let's check in with JT, one of the big shots down there at the Game Crafter. Also on the show floor at Gen Con this year. JT, are you there?
Thanks, Craig. There's a few exhibitors around right now, but they haven't opened the doors yet, so I don't really have anything to report. So I guess back to you, Craig.
Apparently JT has an interview with COG.
Thanks, Craig. I'm here with COG. He's had an interesting con this year, and I thought I'd ask him a few questions about how things are going. So, COG, what have you done that's interesting this year? That's interesting. What else have you experienced while you've been here? Wow, that sounds really great. So you'd say you've had a positive experience then? Yeah, I agree completely. Back to you, Craig.
JT has an interview with Jim Games a Lot. Let's go live to the floor at Gen Con.
Thanks, Craig. I'm here with Jim Games a Lot. He's been gaming for 64 hours straight at Gen Con 2013. How's it going there, Jim?
It's your turn.
That's great, Jim. Back to you, Craig.
Really? Fine, sure, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's go live to Gen Con and talk to Tavis from the Game Crafter.
Hey Craig, I'm here at the front door. There's tons of people over here. It's a really exciting show. I really think this is going to be awesome. That's all I really have to report for now. Back to you, Craig.
This has been a Gamers Table special report.
Wrapping up for Expresso. The theme. You're a bunch of baristas in a coffee shop serving coffee to customers. Only you apparently hate each other but don't have weapons. So that's really the feel that they get from the theme. But the theme of making coffee for people and trying to find the right ingredients. It's a very unorganized coffee shop, but the theme sort of holds. Easy to play. Yeah, if you actually read all the damn rules and pay attention to them, it's fairly easy to play. We don't always do that. And fun to play. Oh, the way with nobody trading, it can, especially when you get a 4-player and you need 20 points to go, or all the customers gone, which we actually had happen. It gets to be less fun to play than it should be. It's supposed to be a fast game simulating that computer thing where it's frantic. I don't get the frantic feel from this. I give Expresso a 5.5.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the rulebook either. We had questions about it. There's some points about the gameplay that we weren't sure of. It's not 100%. Yeah, calling them shards. Yeah, okay, well, coins or something like that. But other than that, I don't mind the game too much, except for, that it can drag on. The name Expresso might indicate how impatient the customers are getting and how hectic, a shop like that could be. But, yeah, the game can play out quite a long time. Getting the ingredients you really need if you're not trading or people are being stubborn or whatever. If someone's way in the lead and you're not doing so well, you don't want to give them, a better advantage. So it can bog the game down a bit like that. And but other than that, like the artwork and stuff and the variety of customers and stuff is not bad. And the baristas are pretty cool. They get some neat abilities on there and that. But generally, the ones that give you allow you to skip ingredients or swap ingredients or something, or draw more cards or whatever, those are probably the ones you're really going to be wanting. But other than that, I just found it kind of dragged out a little bit too much. And the whole idea of, all your workers infighting is the whole dysfunctional coffee shop just didn't appeal to me too much. I'm just going to give Expresso a 5.
I think one of the things I didn't like about the game, thematically speaking, is the customers would come in, and as soon as they got too many impatience tokens, nobody cared anymore. It's like, I'm not going to get enough money off of that customer anyway, so I'll just let them leave. I think there should be more of a detriment to letting them leave.
Yeah.
For sure. Or maybe having a greater scale of impatience, because as soon as you bring a guy who's using a cell phone and you have a neighbor who has a guy who doesn't like cell phones, immediately they're getting a token on and reducing their value by 1 or more. And in a game where the maximum I think you can get in an ideal situation is 5.
Including bonus, yeah.
That's
including the bonus. Every one you take away from it is pretty huge. So maybe a greater scale, or for every black cube you can disregard one of the ingredients just to help get rid of them faster. As an example, and I definitely have some penalty to not being able to serve the customer. Or maybe even have the option to, like, let's say you're being ballsy, you can take more customers on. And then there's a risk of not being able to fill them all.
Right.
But as it is fun, but I think the more I got to playing it, the more I realized, wow, this is really frustrating because I'm missing one ingredient and there's no incentive for the other people to trade to me at all. And if I wanted to give them 2 ingredients to help, get what I need to sweeten the pot, I'm using 2 actions, and now I can no longer serve the customer, which is frustrating. So I think, in my opinion, trading should be free. There should be no actions for trading. But that's my opinion. I gave Expresso a 5.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table Independent Edition. Tune in next week, probably, where we review another game.
Because that's what we do.
And if you like the show and want to see more, connect with us on YouTube and subscribe at FBN Dude, or follow us on Twitter, or connect with us at thegamerstable@hotmail.com. Leave a comment in the message in the description below. Thanks, Hank.
All right, see you.
I'm over there. So this is over here. Why are you talking like Optimus Prime?
That's a little.
Hello! What's up here?
Wow.
Well, let's see what's down there then. Oh!
Now, I just need to point out to you right now. Oh my goodness. There's 1980s coming back.